In today's video, I'm going to be demonstrating how to set up DJing equipment. Now, specifically, we're going to be looking at CDJs, turntables, plugging all of that stuff into the mixer, and then connecting the mixer out to the sound system. Now, if you own one of these, a DJ controller, these are pretty easy to set up because it's an all-in-one device, and all you need to do is, of course, connect the sound system to the master, give this unit some power, plug in your laptop, headphones, and microphone, and away you go. But you might find yourself in a situation whereby you want to use the CDJs in a nightclub, and actually the way that they're wired up is incorrect because of the previous DJ, how they've left it. It might be that you find yourself in a situation like me the other week where I turned up to the venue and I had to hunt round the whole venue for the CDJs and then sort of set everything up from scratch. By the way, if you haven't seen that vlog, link in the description down below. But you might find yourself in a situation like that. All of that is going to be covered today in terms of how to set up DJing equipment the right way. And I'm also going to use this as a bit of an excuse to give you a bit of a tour around my home setup, because I have some brand new DJ equipment to show you, which I'm very excited about. So let's get straight into it. So here we have it then. This is my home setup. I will come on to why I have CDJs at home. These are brand new. They've literally just arrived a couple of days ago for me. I have been on the waiting list for these for about 7 months. I ordered them like back in August. So starting off with the turntable, which I've had for quite some time. This is a Pioneer DJ PLX 1000. People will probably get at me in the comments and say, well, it's not Technics. I know, completely get that. I actually used to own some Technics turntables, and it's one of the biggest regrets in my life selling them. And because I've like moved over to digital, I couldn't justify the price difference between one of these and the new 1210 or 1200 Mark 7s that have come out. Like the price is just ridiculous. And yes, this is never going to be as good as like Technics, but for home use and for spinning a bit of vinyl, it is perfect for me. I've got two Pioneer CDJ 3000s. To be fair, Pioneer have changed up the box. I actually unboxed one of these last year at one of my friends' sort of warehouses. I think it was last year, it might have been the year before, I can't remember. But the box was far nicer. It had like a nice printed graphic on it, but they've really just changed it for this real kind of plain cardboard. So I don't know what Pioneer are doing there, considering the price of these. Now, do you need CDJs at home? Absolutely not. I just absolutely love music. I've always loved playing music. I don't actually watch a lot of TV or anything like that. In my spare time, I'm always listening to new tracks, playing music, mixing music. So, and I've saved up for years on this. I've DJed for like so many years. So I would say it's absolute overkill for most people, but for me, it's like my pride and joy. And then in terms of the mixer, I've got a DJM 750 Mark II. They discontinued the 900 Nexus 2, which was my absolute favorite mixer. This is like half the price of a 900 Nexus 2, and you get 80% or 85% of the features. And then the Pioneer DJ A9, I just don't need it. I don't need Bluetooth connectivity from a sound desk into my mixer or anything like that at home. So I've settled with the 750 Mark II. I have a feeling that this will get replaced this year. There is rumours that there is an A7 coming out, but honestly, with all the shortages and everything like that going on with Pioneer, considering I ordered these CDJs back in August last year, I ordered all of this in August last year. The mixer came in like December, and then these only just came the other day. So the waiting time is ridiculous. So I'm proper happy to have this all set up now. And of course, now I'm going to show you how to connect everything up if you are ever using CDJs for your gigs. Just quickly before we get into the actual setup and how to do that, I want to give a special mention to STLS Events. This video is not sponsored or anything like that, but they are the company that supplied all of my DJ equipment. Really great company here in the south of the UK for audio and lighting hire, installation, and also as well event production as well. They do a little bit of retail sales themselves. It's not really their kind of bread and butter, but they certainly hooked me up. So just want to give a special mention to them. And if you're interested in any of that stuff and you're based here in the UK, I've left the link down in the description down below. Okay, so we're now looking at the back of the turntable, the CDJs, and the mixer. It is a little bit back to front because you've got to imagine, whilst we're going to be going here right to left, this would be on the left-hand side if you're facing the crowd, if you've got to imagine it like that. Now, best practice, I would say always switch everything on and set up your power last, because if you're already switched on and you're moving audio cables and things like that out, especially if you're plugged into a sound system already, you are potentially open to getting interference, pops, crackles, and even quite loud bangs, which could potentially damage your sound system. So power is always connected and switched on last, in my opinion. Do let me know in the comments if you disagree with that. So anyway, so we're going to go from left to right. Imagine left to right looking out to the crowd, obviously right to left in this example. So you're going to take your audio cables, these are RCA cables, red and white in colour, and you're going to plug in to the back of the CDJs. Let's get that down there. It's literally a colour matching exercise. Now, the easiest way to plug into a mixer is if it's the further leftmost product. So this would be on the left-hand side here. So this would be on the left. Plug into channel 1. And CDJs always plug into the line input. So you notice we've got phono and line. The turntable will have to do something slightly different. But so we're going to go here, channel 1 line for the CDJs. And then you're going to do exactly the same on the other side, but you're going to go into channel 2. So this is where we set up the second channel of the mixer. So if we look here, we've got channel 2, and we just go red and white. If you are connecting high-end DJ equipment, you'll also notice there is a digital out here. This is actually a replacement for the RCA cables. However, this particular mixer does not have any digital inputs. So if you're using digital out, it's as simple as plugging in like an RCA cable. This is RCA is the red and white. And you would just literally go from digital out into the channel 1 digital input, and it's just one cable rather than two, and it's just a little bit more convenient. But for the purposes of this, unfortunately, I don't have digital inputs. So we have our two CDJs now connected. Now, when it comes to the back of the turntable, very, very important, it will always come with this very thin signal ground lead, as you can see here. Very important that you hook this up correctly. So all you do is you unscrew the pin, make sure that the little pins on the end of this signal ground cable, it literally looks like this, make contact and tighten that up. And then you take this cable, and on the back of the mixer, you'll see a similar connection here if you have got turntables. This is only for vinyl turntables, and you just make sure that you hook that on there, tighten that back up, and that's all set up, ready to go. The next thing to do is connect up the RCA cable. So similarly to the CDJs, you just plug those in, but unlike CDJs, which are plugged into the line input, you plug in turntables into the phono input. So just notice there, rather than the line. So it has to go into phono in order for that to work. Next up then, we are going to set up the link cables. So if you notice here on high-end Pioneer equipment, I think Denon DJ separate CDJs also have this, that you'll notice these link ports, and you should plug these into a switch, Ethernet switch, that looks like that. What you would do is simply plug that cable into there and then plug that into your Ethernet switch there. So you can see here I have now plugged in the two CDJs into the Ethernet switch. Apologies for the messy wires. There are a lot of wires when you set up CDJs. Basically, what this Ethernet switch will allow is that if you wanted to plug in a USB stick and start playing on the other deck, it basically links the two decks together. Now, you can simply link one deck into the other by plugging in an Ethernet cable from 1 into 2. That's absolutely fine. However, this will give you a greater degree of flexibility, especially if you're in a nightclub. For example, the 900 Nexus 2 mixer, and I think the new A9 also has an Ethernet port at the back of the mixer. This one doesn't, but that will allow you to quantize all of the effects, and it just is a bit more of a seamless experience. And also, if you use rekordbox in export mode on the laptop like I do, you can plug your laptop straight into the Ethernet switch. So I always use an Ethernet switch as opposed to just plugging one into the other like that. Next up then is plugging in the sound system, and we have two XLR cables here, and you would simply plug these into your master output like that. Now, if you don't have XLR cables, you can also use an RCA output here. Most professional systems I would highly recommend using XLR cables, but you can use RCAs. And if your nightclub venue or even your setup involves a booth monitor, so for example to avoid delay so you can hear exactly what's coming out of your headphones, you would then also plug this in using the 1/4" jacks into the booth output here. So these are reserved for the speakers that are in the DJ booth. Second to last then, if you've got a microphone for this particular mixer, plug that in using an XLR cable at the back here. If you do have a controller, it might be that you use a jack lead to plug in the microphone. Look at this FLX4. You can see here we have an unbalanced jack lead there, but most of the time the microphone is plugged in somewhere near the top or the back of the mixer. And then that leaves one final thing to do, and that is to hook everything up to power. And then these are just pretty much kettle leads. With the CDJ 3000s, they have this like locking mechanism on there, but you don't need that. But yeah, you just plug those in both sides. And then once everything is plugged in and you're confident that everything is set up correctly, you can switch everything on and away you go. And there we have it. It is as simple as that. I really hope that you found this video useful and easy to follow. If you made it this far, please do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, and I'll see you next time.